How's it going? How's it going this morning? When is it the right time to be humbled? When is it the right time to be afflicted? What does afflicted even mean? Afflicted means to be greatly troubled mentally. We're going to use that one definition. So, when is it the right time to be greatly troubled mentally? See, when you lay with a female, or when people laid with the female in the Bible days, it was for a purpose. Relationships where a man and a woman unite together was for a purpose. And when you do this, not in the purpose intended, it can alter God's plan. It can alter the gift of a relationship that God has created, and this beautiful gift in a relationship that He has designed perfectly, if it's orchestrated perfectly, that it can provide two people with the most abundant, happiest life ever. But when is it a right time to be humbled or afflicted or to be troubled mentally? We have to answer this question, because in this relationship, in this divine covenant between man and woman, there is a consequence if it's not done correctly. And I don't know about you, if you was ever playing a game and you was the only loser, no matter how many times you played, no matter who you played, every time you played the game, you was guaranteed to lose. How many times would you even play this game? Would you even consider playing the game if you was the guaranteed loser? Well, when it comes to a relationship where a man and a woman unite together, there's a couple things that we have to ask ourselves. There's a couple things that I think should be known so that two people can make the appropriate decision. Because I really believe that the spirit in man and female, or male and female, knows exactly how God designed marriage to be. And I believe that the spirit reacts like it's supposed to, as God designed it. It's just that we don't understand what's going on. We are not taught what is happening underneath. And when you're fighting something that you can't see, it is very hard to become the victor. And so when we look at a scripture in the Bible, it says a man, and I'm figuring a man of faith, a son of God, shall leave. And that's the reason why I say that it has to be a man of faith or a son of God, because this man shall leave or disconnect himself from his parents, right? For a man to disconnect himself from his parents has to have faith that he can survive on his own, has to have some kind of confidence within himself that he is able to make it. It is very hard to leave the nest, a comfortable nest of your parents, and go out into the world and do it on your own, even if it's chaotic at your parents' house. You still might be one to contemplate. If you're a man, hey, I can go out here and I can work and I can make it happen. We're talking about a man that is a son of God who is able to convert his negative energy into the image of God. We're talking about a person, a mature man that leaves his mother and father's house, his parents' home, and is joined because he desires to be joined. Now, him leaving was one thing, but for him to be joined to his wife, that's by desire. And why not? I mean, he has conquered all of his enemies. He has captured every thought and made every thought subjective to the image of God and turned it and converted into something positive, turning negative energy into positive energy. And he has a home that he has in his possession. And he desires to want a relationship, to be with somebody, to be in the home. And so this is a loving kind of relationship where a man who is strong is kind of like the damsel in distress who is joined together with his wife, meaning that she was once under her parents' authority. She was once under her parents' rulership. But now she also has to maybe shave her head and remove her parents' and old beliefs, because now when she becomes a wife, when she is united with a man, there is something spiritually that happens, that undergoes, that I don't think we're taught. And it says, and they shall become one, because they desire to want to be together. You have a man who is strong, who is saving a damsel in distress, and now they are united together in this home. He has allowed this woman the time inside the home to get rid of old behavior that she once had at her parents' house, maybe shaving her head, cutting her nails, and allowing a new mantle, new wine to grow, new hair to grow, because now she's in a new relationship, in a new covenant. Because in the Bible, the female is always under the authority of the father or the parent or the husband who she's joined or connected with, or she's set free, one or the other. But she is never bound, but she's always protected. And as a woman, I would have to ask myself that, what is my role in this game or in this relationship? Because a game has rules, just like a relationship has rules. And in these rules, if the woman is guaranteed to lose every time, would that change how a woman participates in the game? Would she, if she's well informed of what takes place, would she make a better decision for herself? If she knew that in the Bible, it appears to me that in this game of life, when a woman and a man come together and they unite with one another, when they're joined together, there is one person who in the Bible shows gets a short end of the stick. if it's not done appropriately. So as a woman, I would have to ask myself, do I feel like I want to be greatly troubled mentally by this person? And do I feel that if I was in a position where I could not bathe and wipe myself, could I trust this person to be there for me by my side? And vice versa, do I feel like if this other person couldn't wipe or bathe themselves, would I be willing to do that for them? Because that's what it kind of boils down to when we get to an older age, is that are we able to take care of one another? Because we don't want to look at this on a quick thing, because that's not the way God designed the relationship to be. Because the man doesn't have chaos in his head that he's trying to fight. He was sober-minded when he made his decision to be with the woman. His desire was pure. He allowed the woman 30 days to mourn her mother and her father. Also time to be able to get rid of the old behavior before he even went into her. And so when we look at this, it appears that uniting together has become like a drug, a quick fix. And it is not what God had called it to be. Because in this day and age, the female has to be sober-minded, because this design is not the way things are today. The design has been messed up to where you don't see the man sometimes who is confident and willing to go out here and create a home so that he can provide this home for a family, and desire for a woman to be in the home to make this family. Why would a man go through all those changes for a one-night stand? Because this is not that type of man that God created for the female or the woman to be with. He created the man to be sober-minded. But today, the female has to be sober-minded to be able to make decisions, to know if that man has indeed been able to control his negative energy and convert it into positive energy. If this man has created a home and has created something so that he can show proof that he is ready for a family, so that he can provide. This is talking about a meaningful relationship, that you want to be able to convert your own negative energy into the image of God as a female in this day and age. Because if you have not learned how to do that in this day and age, you can make a wrong decision, because your negative energy has you captive and not the other way around. So the female needs to be informed, because again, in this game, when it comes to the Bible, it appears that she's the one that takes the risk of losing it all. I know that we would like to say that males and females are the same, but in the Bible, it does not say or speak of us responding the same when it comes to us making a covenant with one another, uniting as one together. I don't hear of a man in the Bible being humbled when it comes to a sexual encounter going bad. But there are a couple encounters where it does talk about a female being humbled, being humiliated, being afflicted, having mental pain because of uniting with the man. And it was done not the way it was intended. So again, we have to ask ourselves, should the woman, I think she should, know the truth about the game, in that in the Bible, if this game goes wrong, she is the one that's going to be suffering the most with the mental pain. And if she has children, that mental pain that she has will be transferred to the children if she has not been able to subdue her enemy and be vigilant at it. Because this word humbled, it's in the Hebrew or the Aramaic scriptures. And the number in Hebrew is 6031. 6031. And it means to be afflicted, to have some kind of major discomfort. And if we go to Genesis chapter 34, verses 2, we can read in this verse, and it says, and when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. See, even in Genesis chapter 34, when you read about this story, something that was very violating to the female here is something that we see as casual relationships today. This was an instance where you had a person who desired a woman and wanted to be with her, but after being with her, wanted to discard her like nothing. And that was a violation. Her brothers got very upset at that, and something devastating happened because of it. But today, it's casual. It was something humiliating back then for the female to experience. But today, we have made it casual, like it's nothing. Even in Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 14, it reads, and it shall be, if you have no delight in her, then you shall set her free. But you certainly shall not sell her for money. You shall not treat her brutally, because you have humbled her or afflicted her. Anytime, if you can imagine, especially being young and not having an understanding of this concept, that if a female was out there and encountered a guy and that guy did not desire her no more, now her defense system is down, her wall is down. There's a hole in her wall. But she doesn't understand the spiritualness of why she's feeling the way that she is, not knowing that this encounter was going to make her feel dirty and make her feel like she has lost her power. It's just an appearance that her power might be lost. But because she does not understand that feeling and that emotion, she starts reacting to it. And because we all don't know, because we're all not told, because we find out ways to get behind it by maybe making some kind of protection. But what does that kind of protection, who does that really protect in this game? Because all it takes in this game is for a male and a female to come together. Now, the protection just stops pregnancy so that the male doesn't have the responsibility, but the female is still left with the guilt, is still humbled. She is still the one that loses the game. And nothing, no child or no husband to that you get as a you don't get neither one. And your wall is down. And so I just thought this was very interesting, that I think that society should know that this is something that takes place. That in this relationship game, that this was not made for a joke. This was not made for games to be united with a woman. It was for a purpose. And it was for a joyous purpose, a union, a continuous union, just like the union between you and the inner you. The relationship, the union, the oneness is the same that you have with the female, with the woman, continuously, forever, and hopefully for eternity. Thanks again for listening.